Hi, this is Brian with redband.com. Now, as you pretty much have heard me talk about before, I love this camera. This is the DSC-T500 from Sony. They replaced it with something called the T900, which is a little bit thinner, a couple more megapixels. And I can't tell you enough how much this is a great camera. I mean, it films great video, 720p. It's got great sound with the stereo mic right here in the front. It's got a 5x optical zoom. It's 10 megapixels. This is a great camera. Now, the T500 and the T900 have been discontinued and replaced with this. This is the TX1. This is supposedly the replacement, but I don't really think it is. I think Sony has another camera they're about to release, and this is more of a replacement for the T90 or the T700. Anyways, this is a blue version of it. It's more like a lavender. It looks, in some lights it does look blue, in other lights it looks purple. It's very thin, especially compared to the T500. It's very thin in your hand. It feels great. This is actually something you could have in your pocket, and it's even, if you know, you would not even know it's there. I love the size of it. I love the build quality of it. It feels solid. It's got a 3-inch screen on the back. Unfortunately, the T500 has a 3.5-inch screen, so that's kind of a letdown. But not as much as this letdown. That's the microphone input. This is the microphone off the cheaper model, an older model, a stereo microphone. And yeah, it's not the best stereo microphone, but it is stereo and it does actually sound pretty good. So that's one of the things that I don't like, is the small little microphone. Now this is packed full of new stuff that there's a couple things on here that I love. This has a 10.2 megapixel back illuminated Exmor Exmor, I guess that's what it's called, R CMOS sensor producing lens. What that means is, in layman's terms, there's like this coil that's around the lens. Usually light has to go through this in order to take a photo, so some of the light gets kind of lost and the photos turn out a little bit darker than they should. In this camera, this is the first time that this coil is actually in the back of the lens, or down here somewhere, and so light doesn't have to go through it, so you get more light. Sony's saying it's 200% more light, or twice as much light. From my test and photos, it seems like it's definitely better. I don't know about 200%. In the video quality, it's not any brighter than this. Actually, the T500 actually was brighter, but it did show more static and washed out colors. The colors weren't as rich, but if you're in a dark club and you just want to get some video, this works a lot better than this. But if you're filming just normal video, this has a lot better color, not as much static, and it just looks like a better picture, except the sound is not as good. This has a new kind of touchscreen device. The menu system has been completely changed from older Sony's. Is it good? I haven't really decided. It's very, very confusing. There's all these new modes in it and stuff like that. They have this really cool mode called Sweep Panorama, and what that does is, usually when you want to take a panoramic photo, if the camera has the features, you have to take a photo here, then you take a photo here, then you have to take a photo here, but you have to like line it up, and it takes a while, and it's like a fun little trick. This, you just pretty much here, let me show you. You pretty much show the you choose the direction. Like, here, see this arrow right here? That means let's see if I can get that. See the arrow right there? That means that I am doing a panoramic from the left to the right. You can change it up and down, right and left, or whatever. But anyways, if you take a photo, you push it and you just start scanning, and then it automatically, it's probably can't see that, it automatically glued all the pieces together, and it took all the photos together into one long photo. So it did that all by itself. I didn't have to line up anything. I just had to push the button and go like this. That is a cool feature. I really like that feature a lot, and I hope Sony continues to to work on that technology, because right now it seems perfect, but you know, it'd be cool to do it longer, I guess, because it seems like right now it's taking about 4 photos and putting them together. Now the menu system is, like I said, very confusing. It's really a shame because they had good menus in the past. I mean, there's all the settings that you would expect to see here, there's even a lot of really like fun tools, you know, like if you have a photo, you can draw on it now, you can crop it, you can do basic editing on now, which is a new change for Sony, because I don't really, you know, the T500 never had any of those features. The optical zoom is only 4 times, which is something that happened in the T900 for some reason. This had a 5 times optical zoom, so it's kind of sucks that it's going backwards. And if you notice, the lens is actually a smaller lens, it appears to be. I don't know if you guys can tell that or not. It's a smaller lens on this camera, so that might have something to do with it. It might be a different kind of lens technology. Actually, it is a different lens technology. But so the 4 times zoom, and the zoom is good, it's smooth, that's nice. The weird thing is that the old 500s used to have this little knob on here, so if you wanted to zoom, you just, you know, push left and right. And you also had a hardware button from going to film or photo. I actually like that. I mean, I don't like how it's stuck up and everything, but I do like a hardware button, because this, if you want to shoot video, you actually have to go into the menu, choose the mode, choose movie mode, and it does stick. So if you turn off the camera, it will always be on movie mode, but that's still kind of, I don't know, I just prefer a hardware button. And now another thing this doesn't have is when you're filming video, it doesn't have a photo button. Now I think the T900 didn't have this either, so the T500, again, looking like a winner here. The T500 actually had a button right down here. I don't have a memory card in here, so I don't think it's going to show it. But when you hit record, there's a photo button here, and it lets you take photos while you're filming video. It will only let you take 3 photos, but still, that was nice to have. Sometimes I was filming video and I'm like, man, I wish I had some still photos of this. Oh, bam, 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 you know. Anyways, this doesn't have that. But it has almost every other feature that the T500 has. Now, one cool feature that I really liked about this camera was when you are in photo mode, the intelligent auto adjustment is pretty accurate. It just pretty much go, hey, I want to take the best picture in all scenes. Meaning, like, if you're outside, the camera will know you're outside. If you're trying to take a picture of a mountain, the camera will know you're taking a mountain. And it does a pretty good job of detecting all the different kinds of things you can do. But the one thing it does have that I really liked was this thing called handheld twilight. Now, I don't know if this is the first time Sony's done this, but this is not in the T500. And what it does is, if you're filming something that's dark, let's my messy office, it's not really the darkest. Let's see if you can hear this too. And if I hold it down, it will, you know, focus, and it will take, like, I think it takes like 10 photos really fast. I don't know if you can hear that. And then it's processing. What it does is it takes those 10 photos and it combines them all together into, so you have a perfect photo. And what I have found it does is, like, if you have a wall or if you have something in the background, like say like this gray part right here, if you have that gray part right there, and if it detects that exact gray part in every single photo, it will smooth out the gray. So it will take out all the static. So that is, in low light conditions, pretty sweet. And I really like this technology, and I've been using it a lot since I've been testing this camera, and I think it does an excellent job. And I love Sony's doing cool stuff like that. That's a really neat feature. Other than that, it's got, you know, high-speed shooting. It can take 10 photos in one second. Is that it? 10 frames per second. So, like, if you want to take a photo of, like, somebody hitting a baseball, you can just hit it and go da 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 da, and it will take 10 photos in 1 second, which is pretty good. That's actually really fast. It's a lot faster than the T500. I'm not sure what the T500 could do, but it can't do that.